Hello and welcome to another podcast. It's 2021. We are in lockdown. Welcome to episode 8 of the Ben Lister podcast radio show here on Hull Kingston Radio 107.4 FM. And in previous episodes, we have had guests such as Stephanie Hurst and Sean Goldsmith and Patrick Billington and Radio Humberside's very own Lucy Clark, broadcaster Dan Murphy, motoring journalist Paul Woodford, and last time we had the mighty podcaster Lee Ton from Lehmanshire and his young protege DJ Ashley Noble. But today we have a broadcasting icon from BBC Radio Humberside. It's the lovely Kim Harrison. Hello, Kim. Welcome along.
Hello, Ben. It's so nice to be called an icon. What a compliment.
I'm always nice to my guests.
Thank you, Ben. But I'm great, thank you. Are you okay?
Yeah.
Perfect.
That's good. 5 questions, if that's okay, about your broadcast career today.
That is absolutely fine. I've got my hot chocolate here to keep me going throughout the questions. That's not a problem. I'm rearing and ready to go.
You ready to rumble?
Let's get ready to rumble. I'm absolutely ready, Ben.
Okay, let's begin. Question 1. Where did you start your broadcast career?
Well, interestingly enough, this is my first ever broadcasting job. I did a degree in broadcast journalism, but I never ever thought that my dreams had come true of actually getting onto the radio. So I applied for it through the New Voices that the BBC was running. Spent sort of an audition time there, meeting everybody from BBC Radio Humberside, did an audition, and then here I am a year later on. I've spent sort of 52 weeks on the radio. It's been amazing.
Yeah, I've been in the job since August last year. I've been doing my community volunteering radio, and it's wonderful. Like yourself, I used to listen to yourself in the early days. I listened to your first ever show.
Oh, thank you, Ben. That's amazing. And I look forward to yours as well. I can't wait to hear all the podcasts when it's out.
That's up to the bosses at Hull Kingston Radio.
We'll have to bribe them. Maybe with my hot chocolate, that might help. Free hot chocolate, anyone?
Yeah, who knows? Who knows? Question 2. Who were your inspirations in broadcasting growing up?
I had lots of inspiration in broadcast because when I was younger, I used to love watching children's television on a weekend, and that probably spanned right into my teenage years, to be honest. There was a television show called Smile when I was younger, which was presented by Fern Cotton and Reggie Yates, and it was just amazing. And ever since I saw Fern Cotton on telly, I was absolutely obsessed with her, to the point where I wanted matching tattoos with Fern. So yeah, I just thought she was great. I really loved her growing up. She was really inspiring. And obviously then she moved to radio, and I thought, oh gosh, Fern Cotton, I want to be like you. Like, I feel like I watched her presenter journey as I grew up, just wishing I was in her shoes every single day she was on telly or on the radio. So I definitely say she was one of my inspirations. But a bit of an oldie for me. Well, I won't say an oldie because she's fantastic, but I absolutely love Davina McCall because I was obsessed with Big Brother when I was growing up. So I'm very, very female orientated inspirations, but you know, these massive bubbly characters, and I think those women feel like, oh, it's okay to be loud, Kim. You can be your loud Grimsby self and you could still potentially make it into broadcasting. So on that final note, I'd say after that, I'm a big, big lover of my absolute hun, Alison Hammond. She just is herself through and through. And if I ever get to, well, I'm getting to do it. And finally, I've got to be a broadcaster that is just allowed to be herself on the radio. So maybe the inspirations have worked, eh, Ben?
Maybe, yeah. One of my inspirations was the great Tony Blackburn as well.
I'm not surprised that. What was it that inspired you so much about Tony Blackburn?
His style. He just had a unique style and he could get away with being cheesy where other DJs can't.
Can I not get away with being cheesy, Ben? I'll try.
Depends what radio station you're on.
Well, seeing as though I'm on BBC Radio Humbersides now, I probably have to be careful. I probably can be a little bit cheesy and cheeky now and again when it gets later on in the evening.
After 9.
Yeah.
Yeah. Question 3. What is your favourite part about the job?
Oh, well, let's start from the very beginning, is meeting people like yourself, Ben. Like, since joining BBC Radio Humberside, I have met some incredible people from all around the community. Even after living in Grimsby all my life, I've met so many people that I didn't even know about, these little legends running around everywhere and, you know, being quite heroic. And I actually get to celebrate that now. I've learned so much about the other side of the Humber Bridge, you know, Hull, East Yorkshire as well. I've just met and had the best conversations with so many people live on air and actually made friends across the phone. Like, it might be that a guest called in to answer one of my questions and all of a sudden I feel like I'm best friends with them. So that is definitely, you know, one of the most amazing things, to be speaking to so many wonderful people. Secondly, I'd say, you know, I just love being in a job where I can ultimately be myself. I'm quite a caring person, so to speak to everyone in the community and see how they're doing, that's what I love. And then I get to just be my fullest version of my wild, quite gobby. I seem to be able to be completely myself and hopefully put a smile on people's faces. So I just love it. It's a brilliant job.
Yeah, actually, one of my family members, my cousin, who was the 15-year-old who did the photography.
With what's the name, Ben?
His name was Callum. He did it on the Radio Humberside Facebook page.
Oh, incredible. See?
You might
And
have
this is
seen
what,
it.
yeah, I'm always on the Facebook page. I just love sharing everything. So, but that's what I mean, Ben. So from knowing you, then I get to meet Callum and see what Callum gets up to. And then all of a sudden our community just gets connected in so many little dots that we all start to know each other really well. So it's just wonderful to get to meet so many lovely people.
And you're actually one of the only Radio Humberside presenters who know that we're related, because we normally keep our careers separate, I think.
Oh, well, I'll keep that. That's a secret for me. I'll lock and throw away the key.
Yeah, because you might have seen his work on the Radio Humberside Facebook page. He was the guy who did the photography back in the lockdown.
Ah, awesome. There we go then. That secret is safe. Photography has definitely been something that's come out of the lockdown as well, hasn't it? With the streets being so quiet.
Yeah, he did the lockdown, and he went with his mum around Hull City Centre and the people who we live with around Hull City Centre and took pictures of Hull during the lockdown period.
Ah, and it looks wonderful. It just seems so peaceful. What strange but beautiful time.
Yeah, I can't wait, honestly, till I'm allowed back in a radio studio. I'll make an appearance on your show if you'll have me.
Oh, Ben, how could I turn you down? I couldn't. It's been so long. It's been literally a year now for me. And we've communicated so many times and kept in touch with each other throughout my, you know, first year on the radio. You've been there every step of the way, Ben. How could I say no?
I'll come in the studio in the future when we're allowed, obviously.
When we're allowed, gosh.
I've got a lot of radio people to studio visits that I'm owed by a lot of radio stations.
I know there's a queue of people, isn't there, Ben? You're going to have to start getting a waiting list on the go. Everybody wants to speak to you.
Yep. And they'll speak to my colleagues from the We Are Autism programme as well, obviously, when that bobs out, when that funnels out. We're just in the middle of production of that at the moment, so I'm not going to say too much because I don't want to spoil any surprises.
Oh, I won't ask you too many questions then because I'm ever so nosy. I was going to ask loads of questions then, but I promise I won't. Zipped.
Question 4. How has COVID affected your life and line of work?
Well, I mean, I know it's affected everyone in a very similar way. I think a lot of people are feeling at times just a little bit like, I wish we could go back to normal. But I think there's an element of it that's really helped people appreciate the family and friends they've got around them, and with connections to things like radio. Because me and you, Ben, might have, not really have spoke as much as we had if it wasn't for having to really get better at communication with the times been the way they are. For me, it was so surreal because I got the job December 2019. And I was so full of life and so excited to have my first year on the radio. Like, I'm going to give it my all. Like, this is my dream come true. And I wanted to meet everybody at BBC Radio Humberside, and obviously look north or in the other side of the office as well. So I was so excited to meet everybody. And then February, March hit, and the office had to be empty. We had to social distance, only people allowed in the building that are broadcast critical. So I was this newbie, this new girl that didn't really get a chance to meet the team. It was quite nerve-wracking at times because, was I doing everything right? Did the team like me? They don't really even know me yet. And because the office felt so empty and quiet so times, I felt like I was being quiet. So it was a very, very strange year to start in the radio, especially because I'm such a sociable person. But it definitely pushed me out of my comfort zone to just embrace the role, try the best I could be, and just give it all I had. Because, never mind me, there was people outside of the radio station that needed help and support. And, in terms of listening, in terms of an audience, there was audiences listening that needed to be entertained during that time. So it did affect me in that way. It was a very bizarre way to start a job, and I just can't wait for everyone to be able to be back in the office, so I could actually maybe attend a Christmas party, because I didn't even get that this year. But yeah, in terms of the work, I've been able to still do my job properly. I've still been able to learn along the way. I think the only thing it has affected is I haven't been able to go out on the street to speak to people. I haven't really had those face-to-face interviews, like really getting stuck into the community and doing interviews that way. It's had to be over Zoom. So I can't wait for that opportunity to get on the front line and finally speaking to the community again.
Well, with the vaccine on the way and the current drop in cases, and hopefully the death toll goes down soon, we will be able to have that. We will be able to have that. I'm crossing my fingers right now because I'm missing a radio studio, if I'm honest with you.
Yeah, same. I've got my fingers crossed too. I'm currently I'm in my kitchen. This is my studio at the minute. It's the kitchen because that's what I've got to work with when I'm not at work. It's just one of those things. What about you, Ben? Do you feel like it's affected your sort of creativity?
In the early days, yes, but since I've come out here and started broadcasting, it's felt a bit better, to be honest, since I've come outside and started broadcasting, because I'm in my outer area, you see, my inner sanctum, how you say.
Yeah. You have, haven't you? You've got your own sort of type of place to chill out and do something you love and be creative, which is brilliant.
Yeah, I love the broadcasting. It's one of my dreams. It was one of my dreams to be a broadcaster.
And it still can be. Don't give up on it, Ben.
I'm not really. I'm just going to carry on, crack on and get on with it, because you have to in this day and age. You do, absolutely. That's the best attitude to have. And I love radio, and Radio Humberside helped me through the first lockdown, and I put to Peter Levy a few months ago that they deserve an award, the Radio Humberside team, yourself and the others. Oh, Ben, that's so lovely of you. We're going to have to create an award, aren't we? If no one's going to give us one, we'll make our own. You'll probably win an award when the Yorkshire thingies come out, because in a couple of weeks, I think I've got Harry Gratian as well. Oh, there we go. Fingers crossed. Yeah. because I'm going to contact him in a few weeks for this program. Anyway, moving on. Number 5. Number 5. What advice would you give to young aspiring broadcasters?
Okay, let me think of this. If I go back a couple of years when I sort of finished uni and I just thought, I've got my degree, so the magic will happen now. I think what my advice would be to get experience in broadcast in general, see how it all works, get contacts. For example, I did started out as a runner as well. So I worked on some TV programs, and that was literally getting people teas and coffees, helping with production, but just meeting people and really understanding actually what broadcast was about. And all the different positions that are in broadcast as well. There's so many different puzzle pieces to it. So I'd say just get that to build your confidence as well, to be around loads of different people and the broadcasting atmosphere, because the first time I was just terrified. You thought TV could, like, I was working in TV, so you thought everything could go wrong in an instant. But there's method behind the madness. So I think that really built my confidence to know there's strong teams around you, and it's fun. So if you could get like work experience in, at a radio show, or, even in TV, it just gives you that broadcast experience and builds your confidence a bit. I'd tell them really to follow advice and follow you, Ben. You stop at nothing, and maybe you haven't sort of ticked that box you wanted to yet of, my dream's still going strong, I'm still getting there, but nothing stops you from climbing that ladder still. And I really admire that about you. You constantly communicate with people, contact people, create podcasts, and any opportunity you possibly can to get on the radio. And like you say, you even volunteer, and there's nothing wrong with that. I've had to volunteer plenty of times, and I mean, I'm sure you love volunteering, Ben. There's nothing wrong with it at all, is there?
I ain't officially started yet due to this curvid, so.
Oh, well, it's there though. It's there, and no one can take that away from you.
No.
So I'd say to keep doing that. Try and be as creative as you possibly can. Share that with people. Social media is amazing nowadays, so don't be afraid to sort of show off. Show people what you have achieved. Show off if you've made a podcast. Like, get people involved and share it on social media. Finally, I would say don't be afraid to contact people. At the end of the day, if you've got that fire in your belly, and it's something you think about every single day when you wake up, go to sleep, and you just think, this is something I want to do, don't be afraid to contact people, and don't be afraid to get rejected. Just because you got rejected once, you might get rejected 7 times, but if something you really, really want, you'll get it. So keep going for it, and literally just be yourself along that process. Don't shy away from who you are. Don't shy away from what you're about, whether you're a bit wild, whether you are a bit gobby and think, I used to think, surely no one wants a Grimsby gal speaking or broadcasting anything anywhere. And that was really untrue. So I doubted myself. So I've definitely learned, for young aspiring broadcasters, just don't give up. And believe it's there. Just don't doubt yourself and follow it through. Just keep going. And I'm always here to give advice and support you along the way. I'm all ears. I'm more than happy to speak to people about it. Yay.
Yeah, you're an inspiration to the next generation.
Ben, thanks, Horn. That's so lovely of you. You've called me an icon, an inspiration. I'm not going to be able to get out my kitchen. You're making my head massive.
I loved it for a few weeks when you and Curfy Smiles did a show together.
Oh, we absolutely love that. We used to hint. Obviously, this was before the lockdown seriously commenced. I think it was the first 2 weeks of the lockdown when there was sort of social distancing had to happen, and we kept hinting to like station manager and producer, like giving them the wink and the hint, like, what do you think? Kim and Kofi sounds good. Kim and Kofi's got a ring to it. What do you think? Can you imagine if they let us on the radio together, Ben? It'd be absolute chaos.
And it'd be it'd be a comedy double act like lots of others before it. It'd be like a radio presenter double act like JK and Joel.
Hey, it could happen. You never know. Matt and Molly, we could be the new Matt and Molly on Radio 1, couldn't we? But on BBC Radio Humberside.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of who else. What's his name? I forgot. Yeah, because I was reading quite a lot of radio presenters because JK and Joel are no longer together anymore.
No, exactly. But that we could be the new version. Kim and Kofi coming through.
Yeah, that'd be good. Kim and Kofi are a good team.
I think so. I think it's got a little ring to it, and then then we'll be there, Kim and Kofi, and then we'll be going right. Ben's here with us today. Ben Lister's back.
I honestly think Kofi Smiles will go to Radio 1 one day because he's got that potential.
Oh, hasn't he just? I got my fingers crossed for him. That'd be the absolute dream. If I ever got the call that Kofi had got that, I think I'd just cry and be like, we need a celebration now. I'd be so proud. I think I've got my fingers and toes crossed because he's definitely got that, haven't he? Because he makes everyone smile. And what more do you want them from on the radio to be listening to someone who makes you smile? So I've got bets on it too, Ben. What do you think? Sounds like a good idea to me.
I'll give him a reference.
Yeah. Yes, brilliant idea. They'd believe that because then all of the BBC Radio Humberside presenters would just be like, yeah, we agree with Ben. Ben listens all the time. It's a true and honest reference.
And he'd just get the job because of his style. And I think he's going to go on to present the Radio 1 breakfast show one day.
I like it. It's been written in the stars here today, the 10th of February 2021. Kim and Ben Lister have quoted he'll be on BBC Radio 1 breakfast.
I've already said it before. I've said it for the last year that he will.
You beat me to it then. You beat me to you've got to cut me some slack because maybe at one point, Ben, I thought I could have done it with him. If Kim and Kofi happened, it could have been a thing we did together.
You still could. You could be on Radio 1 one day. Who knows?
Oh, who knows, Ben?
I'd both give you references.
Yeah. Thanks, Ben. I really appreciate that.
And if I had the chance to take over your shows, Kofi.
Is that why you're trying to get rid of us to Radio 1 and then you can have our shows? I'd give you a reference, Ben. Does that sound like a good plan? You give me a reference, then I get you a reference to be in my seat on an evening.
Deal. It's a deal. It's a done deal. Joking, anyway. We've come to the end of the interview.
Gosh, Ben, that went so quickly.
We've had a laugh. We've had a journey. We've had an adventure.
We've made bets.
Here on Hull Kingston Radio.
Perfect, eh? It's a first for me.
You're now on you now got the whole of Hull listening to you. Maybe we're not on. Yeah, you got the whole of Hull listening to you. Maybe.
Hey Hull, I hope you like my Grimsby accent because I like yours. Thanks for having me, Hull.
Let me just do my wrap up. That's it for today. Thank you very much for joining us, Kim, here on Hull Kingston Radio.
Not a problem. I'd love to join you again anytime soon.
Join us again soon for special guest Chris Marsden. But for now, please give it up for my special guest, Kim Harrison.
Woohoo! Thanks, guys. Thanks for having me. And thank you so much for inviting me, Ben. I hope to see you soon.
Thank you for listening. Join me again soon, and that's a wrap. That was my interview with Radio Humberside's very own Kim Harrison. Hope you enjoyed it. Hope you like, subscribe, and comment on this video. Loads of podcasts next week. A few announcements coming in the next few months. So stay tuned and stay safe, and do what you gotta do. Please like, subscribe, comment, dislike if you didn't like it, just be honest with me. And yeah, that's a wrap.